That was Serene from the Impressions for Woodwind Quintet by Thomas Breadon. Hi, I'm Greg Kustraba. We heard the Mill Avenue Chamber Players, who are with me in the KBACH Performance Studio. They'll be performing in Sedona as part of the Red Rocks Music Festival this Sunday afternoon at 3. Welcome, everybody. Thomas Breadon is the bassoonist in the Mill Avenue Chamber Players and the composer of that lovely work. Tom, what inspired you to write that?
For Serene, the first movement of 5 movements in Impressions. This was written for my mother. I'm the oldest of 4 boys, and she spent a good portion of her life looking after all of those boys. And I think this is mostly about how, just wonderful of a job she did. She made our lives very easy. We had very fun, joyous, easy childhood, nothing really to worry about our entire lives. And so that's what I was kind of trying to grasp in this movement.
So it's not the serenity of the boys, per se.
Certainly not, no. I'm sure she wasn't feeling serene.
Rose French is the hornist in the Mill Avenue Chamber Players. Rose, tell us a little bit about the ensemble, the history of the group. I know it's been around for quite a while.
It has. It actually was started in 2007 while I was finishing my doctorate at ASU. And one of the things that finishing up school at that time, I realized that we really had the possibility of creating an ensemble that could help us continue to grow as musicians as we finished school and went into the professional world.
Yeah, that transition's always a tricky thing, isn't it?
Especially after a doctorate, and especially in 2008.
Oh, indeed, yes. You've brought in another piece for us this evening, a piece by Mexican composer Arturo Marquez. Tell us a little bit about the midday dance, the Danza de Mediodía.
Well, we chose this piece because we actually performed at the Fayette Festival in Alamos, Sonora, last spring in January. They have an international chamber music festival, and we were invited to come down by the Secretary of Culture from the state of Sonora. And so Arturo Marquez was actually born in Alamos, and so we wanted to celebrate him in his hometown. So it's a beautiful piece of music. It just moves along. It dances. If we're not dancing, we're not doing it right.
Excellent. The Mill Avenue Chamber Players here bringing us the Danza de Mediodía by Arturo Marquez on 89.5 Classical KBACH. Terrific playing music by the Mexican composer Arturo Marquez. That was his midday dance, the Danza de Mediodía. We're the Mill Avenue Chamber Players, flutist Sabrina Hu, oboist Nicholas Flickinger, a fellow CCM grad, yay, clarinetist, and the newest member of the group, Jonathan Robinson, bassoonist Thomas Breadon, and hornist Rose French, performing here in the KBACH Performance Studio. Rose, part of that reminds me of the Danza No. 2 by Marquez. He has such a distinctive style.
He really does. He really brings in a lot of Mexican folk music into his compositions.
That's a piece that's going to be on your performance in Sedona this Sunday, right? Tell us a little bit about this concert coming up. What inspired you to pick the repertoire for it? What is actually on that concert?
We're playing Tom's pieces. We typically program around a theme, but we wanted to have a good representation of what we do as an ensemble. And so, of course, having Tom's pieces on there, we're very, very incredibly fortunate to have a composer in our group. He's not only composed the impressions for us, but 2 different sets of music that we use for educational outreach. And one of them is Aesop's Fables, and then the other one is the North American folk tales, which are all immigrant stories. And so tying that into the danza, with it being Hispanic Heritage Month, we wanted to tie that together. And then also we're performing a work by Amy Beach and William Grant Still.
Okay, and we'll hear the William Grant Still in just a bit, right? At least part of the miniatures. You can learn more about the concert and the Phoenix-based ensemble on their website. It's millavechamberplayers.com. Next, a lovely piece, as we said, by the Dean of African American Composers, inspired by a Mexican folk tune. Tell us a little bit about this.
This is an albarito. Mexican folk songs, they have corridos and ballads, much like English ballads, just different ways of storytelling. And this one is particularly close to my heart because I spend a lot of time in the state that this is inspired from, in Guanajuato, Mexico.
The Mill Avenue Chamber Players here in the KBACH Performance Studio on 89.5 KBACH. What an adorable piece by William Grant Still, the second movement of his miniatures, originally for flute, oboe, and piano. It's called Adolorito. We heard it arranged for woodwind quintet by Adam Lesnick and performed by the Mill Avenue Chamber Players right here in the KBACH Performance Studio. The Mill Avenue Chamber Players will be performing in Sedona on the Red Rocks Music Festival this Sunday afternoon at 3. You can purchase tickets and learn more at redrocksmusicfestival.com. Rose French and all of the rest of you terrific musicians, thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm Greg Kostraba. Thank you for listening. You can hear this interview and performance again at our website, kbach.org. We'll go out with another movement from Tom Breadon's piece, Impressions. This is the final movement called Nocturne, written for his grandmother.